Punk Revolution now. Today we're going to be talking about a bunch of things and stuff and some plot twists, which I will get to. And it all actually starts with me watching the news regularly, and I'm seeing freaking Ron DeSantis being a freaking troll. Ron DeSantis is the governor of Florida, and he's like literally a freaking fascist. Because all he's freaking doing is he's not doing anything useful to make people's lives better. He's literally banning books in schools and is making his number one priority freaking tracking trans people's information at colleges, and basically he's a fascist. He's a fascist. Of course, that's terrifying to me, and my number one priority as an ally is like, I need to step my ally game up, because if there's a fascist movement lurking in the country that's a danger to LGBTQIA people, then I need to freaking become a better ally. So I have started on a daily basis reading the following chart. Bam! This chart here has a assortment of various LGBTQIA plus pride flags, featuring a variety of different identities, genders, sexualities, you name it. And I want to make a note, this is not even all the LGBTQIA flags out there. This is a non-exhaustive list, but I think it's a good place to start, because if I want to be a better ally, I think if this is a conversation we're having, I want to know what the heck is going on. So if I meet someone and they say that they are an ace flux demi boy, I know their flag, and I have that connection with them. Or maybe they're gonna say they're gender flux polysexual, and I know their flags. So a small gesture, but I think a step in the right direction for me becoming a better ally. So I like to read this chart. And I will say I am pretty darn good at assessing a variety of different genders and sexualities based off just looking at the freaking name and flag alone. So the flags actually do tell you something, and I am listening and learning. The number one rule of every ally is to listen and learn. And I have learned, well, there's some pretty darn badass flags here. For example, the butch lesbian flag. This flag literally has a freaking sword! So I'm able to tell, without doing any research, just looking at this flag, that it seems like the butch lesbian identity represents someone who is a freaking badass! Or there's also the bear pride flag. They literally put a freaking bear's hand, which is the bear's freaking form of self-defense. It's a freaking cha on the flag. This is the most badass thing I have ever seen in my life, and I am able to just look at the flag, don't need to do any research. I know that the bear pride flag stands for gay guys who are freaking epic. And now that I think about it, this is actually a very good sign that if this community is using freaking a sword on their flag and a freaking bear, then that means they are pretty badass. So if there is ever a fascist uprising led by Ron DeSantis, I think if the allies and the epic pride community aligns into a militia, we will have no problem defending ourselves, because no freaking fascist wants to go to war against a freaking person who literally has a sword in their flag or a bear. So I'm having a lot of fun learning all these things, and like I said, I'm pretty good at knowing and telling what is going on with each identity just by looking at the flag. But there was a few in here that stood out to me as particularly, I don't know what the heck what is this thing that I'm reading about? The demi-romantic flag. Literally looks like the crest of Islam on top of the flag of Ireland. I have no freaking clue what the heck that is. So obviously, okay, that was so offensive, but actually it was okay for me to say. You'll see why in a second. Bottom line is, I'm someone who, if I don't know, I'm going to research, and I want to research looking at wholesome sources, okay? I'm going to go on Google and put safe search on, because I'm not trying to type in any sort of gender sexuality and see some inappropriate stuff, which is not something I should see anyways. And then all of a sudden, well, it doesn't matter. So I go ahead and Google demi-romantic. And the first article I see is on WebMD, which is kind of weird, because isn't WebMD where you go to read about, like, diseases and, like, various conditions and stuff? And I'm like, what is this, the 1970s? Do you really think that being an LGBTQI identity is somehow a condition? Regardless, I'm not going to throw a fuss. They're acting like it's still 1970s. Obviously, we have some work to do. Regardless, I click on the link. I'm here to learn. I'll throw a fight with WebMD later, but the point is I'm here to learn, so let's see what WebMD says. A demi-romantic person is someone who only develops romantic feelings for another person when they have a strong emotional connection to them. Demi-romantic people can be of any gender identity or sexual orientation. So, pause. That sounds oddly familiar to me. If I remember correctly, so I am a heterosexual male with a girlfriend. And I recall in our relationship, we started out as friends. And then as we continued to hang out, I gradually developed more and more feelings for her that became more intense, and then there were romantic feelings. In other words, I only developed romantic feelings for that person when I had a strong emotional connection to them. And given that demi-romantic people can be of any gender identity, such as myself as a cisgender male, or any sexual orientation, such as myself a heterosexual male, does this mean... Guys! I'm a demi-romantic heterosexual! I literally was reading these flags to become a better ally, and I found my flag! It's like I always just assumed that if you meet someone you like and you hang out and you develop a stronger emotional connection and becomes a romantic feeling, I always thought that's just how things went, but it turns out it's actually an identity! I literally have a freaking WebMD article. Demi-romantic. Because I didn't immediately develop romantic feelings. I developed a strong emotional connection first, and then that opened the door to romantic feelings. Unlike you. Well, actually, you might be demi-romantic too. Point is, I have listened and learned, and now I have an epic flag. And then the cogs in my brain started to turn. For the past few months, I have literally been up in the air not knowing what the heck is happening to my brain and to my soul because I was trolled into watching 98% of a gay hypnosis video. And in this gay hypnosis saga, I have asked so many people trying to figure out what happens when you only watch 98% of a gay hypnosis video. Because does it turn you gay or does it not? Because if you watch the whole thing, it turns you gay, but what about only if you watch 98% of it? Because I have a girlfriend. And now we know the answer. After all these years, we finally know the answer. If you are a heterosexual male and you watch 98% of a gay hypnosis video, you will become a demi-romantic heterosexual. And that, my friends, is the end of the saga. And I want to thank all of you for sticking with me as we figured this out. And now I have an epic flag. Punk Revolution now, demi-romantic heterosexual. Nice to meet you. Yeah, that just rolls off the tongue. I am proud to be a demi-romantic heterosexual. Because at least I know I'm epic. And I think I might be the first openly demi-romantic heterosexual in human history. So with all that said, I think I just wrote the national anthem. So, pretty big day for me. And look, I'm not here to make this about me. I started this journey as an ally. And I still consider myself an ally, but I'm afraid, you know? What if Ron DeSantis comes after the demi-romantic heterosexuals next? So, I'm going to be on the front lines defending the community from Ron DeSantis the troll. And that's all I have to say. Thanks so much for watching. Epic win for the win. Punk Revolution now.